soft morning light through a window, a quiet kitchen, a kettle starting to whistle. Have you ever started your morning with something that seemed perfectly harmless only to learn much later that it wasn't? This morning, a 72-year-old woman passed away, unexpectedly, quietly. And the reason? Not a major illness, not some rare condition, just a small morning mistake. One so common, most people over 70 do it every single day without thinking. Here at Elderly Active Living, we believe mornings matter. They shape your energy, your focus, and even your safety. But as we get older, our bodies become more sensitive, more responsive to little things we never used to notice. And while age may bring wisdom, it also brings changes in blood flow, balance, digestion, and brain function. That's why today's video is not meant to scare you. It's meant to empower you with knowledge, awareness, and simple actions that can protect your well-being every single day. Because truthfully, most of these mistakes, they're not dramatic, they're not rare. In fact, you might be making them now without even realizing it. But here's the good news. These habits are incredibly easy to fix once you know they exist. All it takes is a little adjustment and extra breath here, a glass of water there, or a slower start to the day. Simple, practical shifts that could help prevent dizziness, falls, brain fog, heart stressor, even a medical emergency. So today, we'll be walking through 4 of the most common morning mistakes that many seniors unknowingly make. We'll explain why they matter, what's happening inside your body, and how you can gently change your routine to feel stronger, clearer, and more in control. And please stay with me until the end, because the last mistake is one that almost nobody talks about, yet it may be the most dangerous one of all. This video could make the difference between feeling foggy and slow or starting your morning with clarity and confidence. Between a rushed, risky habit and a safer, smarter way to honor your health. So take a deep breath, grab a cozy seat, and let's begin. Oh, and if you're new here, welcome to the Elderly Active Living community. This channel is built for you for your strength, your wellness, and your everyday independence. If this topic resonates with you, give us a like, subscribe, or leave a comment below with the word ready, because that's what you are, ready to age well on your own terms. Let's start your morning not just with coffee, but with clarity. Here are 4 things to avoid. Starting tomorrow. Part 1. Don't get up too fast. Protecting your heart and balance first thing in the morning. Picture this. You wake up in the morning, maybe the sun's just peeking through the blinds, the house is quiet, and without thinking, you swing your legs out of bed and push yourself up. Because that's what you've always done. But what if that one simple motion, something you've done 1,000 times before, could actually put your health at risk? Here's the thing most people don't realize, especially after 65. Your body changes the way it wakes up. Your circulation slows while you sleep. Your blood pools a bit in your lower body. And your heart isn't quite ready to go from horizontal to vertical in a flash. Getting up too quickly can cause what's called orthostatic hypotension, a sudden drop in blood pressure when you stand. It might sound like a fancy term, but the effects are all too real. Dizziness, lightheadedness, even blacking out. Let me tell you about Edward. Edward is 74. He's sharp, active, and likes to start his day early. One morning, just like always, he sat up fast and stood up without thinking. But within seconds, the room spun. His knees buckled. He blacked out, and, if his dresser hadn't been right beside him, he would have hit the floor hard. That moment scared him. He'd never thought something as small as how he got out of bed could be dangerous. But after a visit to his doctor, he made one tiny change that made all the difference. Here's what Edward and now thousands of others do each morning to protect their heart, their balance, and their peace of mind. Step 1. Wake up slowly. Before you even sit up, take a few deep breaths. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Give your body a moment to come back online. Step 2. Roll onto your side first. Don't just sit straight up. Let your body shift gradually, like warming up an engine. Step 3. Bring your legs over the edge of the bed and let your feet rest flat on the floor. Step 4. Sit there for just a few seconds. Circle your ankles, stretch gently, and check in with how you feel before standing. This whole process, it takes maybe 30 seconds, but it could save you from a fall, a trip to the ER, or worse. Because falls aren't just a stumble. After 70, a fall can lead to a hip fracture, a long hospital stay, and even a loss of independence. And the most dangerous time, right when you wake up, when your body's still adjusting. So the next time your eyes open in the morning, remember Edward. Remember that your health isn't just about what you do, it's about how you do it. Give yourself the grace of a slow start, because those first few seconds, they're more powerful than you think. Part 2. Start with water, the morning habit that can save your health. Let me ask you something. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you reach for? If your answer is coffee, you're not alone. For millions of folks, that warm cup is a morning ritual, almost sacred. But what if I told you before that first sip you might be making a small mistake that's quietly draining your energy and even putting your heart at risk? Here's the truth. After a full night's sleep, your body wakes up dehydrated. And I don't just mean a little thirsty. I mean your blood is thicker, your circulation is slower. Your brain, your heart, your joints, they're all running a bit dry. You've gone 6-8 hours without water. And during that time, you've been breathing, sweating, filtering just by being alive. But your body hasn't received a single drop of hydration. Now here's the kicker. A lot of us, instead of reaching for water, go straight to coffee. And while coffee is comforting, it's also a diuretic, meaning it actually pulls more water out of your system. So now, you're already dehydrated. And the very first thing you put in your body is making it worse. Let me tell you about James. He's 76 years old, a retired school principal. Every morning, without fail, he'd shuffle to the kitchen and pour himself a hot cup of black coffee. No water, just straight to the pot. After a few months, he noticed changes: brain fog, frequent headaches, and this dragging fatigue he couldn't shake. He thought maybe it was just aging. But then, during a routine checkup, his doctor asked a simple question. "Do you drink any water before your coffee?" James shook his head. The doctor smiled and said, "Try this. 1 glass of water, first thing, before anything else." So he did. Nothing fancy, just room temperature water, sometimes warm. Some days he'd add a squeeze of lemon. And within just 2 weeks, the brain fog lifted, the headaches eased, his digestion improved, and his mornings felt smoother, steadier. It wasn't a miracle, it was hydration, because that single glass of water helps thin the blood, supports kidney function, lubricates joints, jumpstarts digestion, and clears the mind. It prepares your body for the day, before you add anything else, in especially coffee. So here's your gentle challenge from us at Elderly Active Living. Tomorrow morning, before the coffee, before the breakfast, before even checking your phone, drink 1 glass of water. Keep it by your bed if you need the reminder. Add lemon if you like a little flavor. Warm it up if that's easier on your stomach. But start with water. Your heart will thank you. Your brain will thank you. And honestly, your whole day might just feel a little brighter. It's a small shift, but for those of us in our 60s, 70s, and beyond, small shifts can lead to big changes. So before you brew that first Q-Hydrate, it's not about giving up the things you love. It's about supporting the body you live in. And it all starts with one simple glass. Part 3. Coffee on an empty stomach. A habit worth rethinking. Coffee. That rich aroma, that first warm sip, it's more than a drink. It's a ritual, a comfort, a promise that the day is beginning. But here's something many people over 60 never get told. Drinking coffee before you've eaten anything might be quietly working against your health. Let's talk about what happens when you wake up. Your body's just gone 7 or 8 hours without food. Blood sugar is low. Your digestive system is still warming up. And your stress hormone cortisol is naturally at its peak. Now, what happens when you pour coffee on top of that? Well, coffee increases cortisol even more. And if there's no food in your stomach to cushion the effect, that cortisol spike can throw your system into chaos. You might feel jittery, anxious, or even nauseous. Your stomach acid rises, causing heartburn or indigestion. And over time, it can irritate your gut lining, leading to chronic issues that most people chalk up to just getting older. But what if it's not age? What if it's timing? Let me tell you about Robert. He's 75 years old, retired electrician, proud grandfather of 7. Every morning, Robert did the same thing: wake up, grab his coffee, and start the day. He loved it. But then came the problems: persistent heartburn, nervous jitters, and this nagging tension that he just couldn't shake. He thought, maybe it's just what happens when you hit your 70s. But one day, during a chat with his doctor, he mentioned it. The doctor asked, "Do you eat before you drink your coffee?" Robert said no. That was the turning point. His doctor suggested something simple. Before the first cup, eat something light. Half a banana, a slice of toast, a boiled egg, even a few almonds. So Robert gave it a shot. Within a week, the heartburn faded. His hands stopped trembling. And for the first time in months, he felt balanced again. You see, food in your stomach acts like a buffer. It slows the absorption of caffeine. It gives your digestive system something to work with. And it softens the impact of acid on an empty stomach lining. You don't have to give up your morning brew, heaven forbid. You just have to move it a little later. So tomorrow, before that first cup, try this. Peel a banana, toast a slice of whole grain bread, boil an egg the night before, and have it ready. Give your body a chance to wake up gently. Here's something else you might not know. When you eat first, you're also helping to regulate your energy. No more caffeine crashes mid-morning. No more anxious pacing or upset stomach. Just a smoother start to the day. And if you've been struggling with that tired but wired feeling, this might be the fix you've been missing. We believe in small choices that support a vibrant life. This is one of them. So enjoy your coffee, just don't let it be the very first thing. Give your body what it needs to greet the day right. You've earned that balance. And your body will thank you for a tone gentle morning at a time. Part 4. Morning Stiffness. Why easing in could prevent serious injury. You know that feeling. The moment you open your eyes, stretch a little, and then realize your body doesn't quite want to move the way it used to. Maybe it's your knees, your hips, your back. Tight. Stiff. Like everything needs a little coaxing before it'll agree to start the day. If that's you, let me tell you, you are not alone. Morning stiffness is extremely common after 60. And while it might seem harmless, just part of the aging process, Ignoring it, or worse, trying to push through it too fast, can put you at serious risk. Let me share a story with you. Walter is 78, sharp as a tack, active, still mows his lawn and fixes things around the house. But one morning he rolled out of bed, like he always had for decades. And in an instant, he was on the floor. His legs had stiffened overnight. His muscles weren't ready. He stood too quickly, lost his balance, and went down hard. It wasn't just a fall. It was months of recovery, and a hard lesson in what rushing can cost us. You see, while we sleep, circulation slows. Our joints lose lubrication. Muscles tighten from being still for hours. So when we wake up, our bodies need a few minutes to catch up. That's not weakness. That's biology. And here's the truth. The first few minutes after waking are critical. They set the tone for the entire day. And those few quiet moments can either protect you or put you in danger. So how do we fix it? Simple. Ease into your morning. Before you even sit up, start small. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Circle your ankles and wrists. Stretch your arms slowly overhead like you're waking each part of your body one by one. Then, roll gently onto your side. Let your legs slide over the edge of the bed. Plant your feet flat on the floor, sit tall, and pause. Breathe. Maybe do a couple of shoulder rolls. Feel your body settling into being awake. And then, only then, stand up slowly, using something sturdy nearby if needed. You're not being overly cautious. You're being smart. Because the most dangerous falls often happen not outside, but right there, beside your bed. At Elderly Active Living, we believe in honoring your body's rhythm. And that means giving it the grace it deserves each morning. Think of it like this. Would you start your car and immediately floor the gas? Of course not. You warm it up first. So why treat your body any differently? Those extra 2 or 3 minutes of gentle movement, they're not wasted time. They're investments in your balance, your safety, and your long-term independence. If you've been rushing into your mornings out of habit, now is the time to slow down, to reconnect with your body, and to move forward with care and confidence. Your mornings can be safe, smooth, and steady. You just have to give yourself permission to begin gently. Part 5. Real companionship comes from within. There's a quiet truth we often forget. That the most meaningful companionship in our lives might not come from someone else, but from the relationship we have with ourselves. Eleanor, 76, told me something that stayed with me. She said, "When I was younger, I feared being alone. But now, I treasure it. It's not loneliness anymore, it's freedom." And I get it. Because for many of us, the idea of being alone can feel unsettling. We're social creatures. We're wired to connect, to share, to belong. But here's the thing. As we grow older, our definition of happiness often changes. What used to be about noise, attention, activity, becomes about peace, space, and stillness. We begin to crave calm, not because we're isolating ourselves, but because we're learning to feel whole on our own. Eleanor's journey wasn't unique. She spent years filling her calendar, jumping from coffee catch-ups to group meetups, thinking that busyness meant fulfillment. But something shifted. She began to notice that after these social events, she often felt drained, not energized. That's when she started spending more time at home, reading books she'd put off for years, tending to her garden, writing in her journal. And what surprised her most, she didn't feel lonely at all. She felt full. She said, "I realized I didn't need noise to feel alive. I just needed space to hear myself again. If you've ever felt that, you're not alone. When we find peace with who we are, when we truly enjoy our own company, we stop chasing validation from others, and something magical happens. We start attracting the right people, the ones who respect your rhythm, who appreciate silence as much as conversation, who don't drain you but gently uplift you. At Elderly Active Living, we talk a lot about independence, but we don't just mean walking unassisted or living alone. We mean emotional independence, being able to say, "I'm enough," without needing someone else to confirm it. That kind of inner stability, it's powerful, it's calming, and it's beautiful to witness. So if you find yourself spending more time on your own lately, don't rush to fill the silence. Lean into it. Ask yourself, what makes me feel calm today? What brings me joy when no one else is watching? Who am I when I'm just with me? Because the answer to those questions, that's where true companionship begins. It's not about cutting others out. It's about recognizing that your own company can be the most honest, kind, and steady relationship you'll ever have. And from that place of peace, you'll have so much more to offer others too. Remember, being alone doesn't mean being lonely. Sometimes it means you're just finally home. Part 6. Letting go to live more fully. Sometimes the biggest step forward in life isn't about gaining more. It's about letting go. James, now in his late 70s, used to fill every hour of his week. Book club on Mondays, church on Tuesdays, community events, volunteering, even online classes. His calendar was color-coded and packed to the brim, and if you asked him why, he'd smile and say, "I'd just like to stay active." But the truth? He was afraid that if he stopped moving, the silence might feel too loud. So he kept going. Even when the conversations felt forced, even when he came home exhausted, even when he no longer felt connected to the people or the purpose, until one afternoon, he sat down in his recliner, looked out the window, and asked himself a simple question. Am I living, or am I just filling time? That question changed everything. He began to say no. He dropped the events that no longer felt meaningful. He let go of the need to show up for every single gathering. He allowed himself to rest without guilt. And what he found in that space was freedom. James told us, "For the first time in years, I felt like myself. Not someone trying to please, impress, or belong. Just me." That's what letting go really is. It's not cutting people off. It's not isolating. It's making room for peace, for joy, for authenticity. Many of us hold on to relationships, routines, or roles that no longer serve the person we've become. Not because we love them, but because they've become familiar. But there's power in recognizing when something has run its course, when a friendship no longer nourishes, when a group no longer reflects your values, when a routine no longer brings joy, and there's even more power in releasing it. At Elderly Active Living, we believe that life after 70 shouldn't be about pretending to be your younger self. It should be about honoring who you are today. That might mean choosing solitude over small talk, saying goodbye to relationships that drain you, or finally admitting that the version of yourself you've outgrown doesn't have to follow you anymore. And that's not a loss. That's clarity. You don't need a crowd to feel fulfilled. You don't need approval to feel alive. You just need truth and peace. So ask yourself gently, what am I holding on to that no longer feels true? What could I let go of to make space for joy? Who might I become if I stop trying to be who I once was? You're not leaving anything behind. You're simply stepping into a more honest version of life. A life where you choose what fits, what heals, what uplifts. James found it on his porch, watching birds, reading books, and finally breathing deeply again. You might find it somewhere else, but the feeling will be the same. Lightness, clarity, peace. Letting go isn't giving up. It's growing up and growing free. Conclusion: your morning matters more than you think. What if I told you that the first 5 minutes of your morning could shape the rest of your day and even protect your independence for years to come? It's easy to overlook the small things, to think, it's just how I've always done it, or it's probably nothing. But as we age, our bodies become more sensitive, more reactive to things we used to brush off, getting out of bed too quickly, skipping that first glass of water, grabbing coffee before eating, ignoring tight joints because that's just part of getting old. They might seem like tiny missteps, but over time, these small habits can quietly chip away at your health. They can lead to dizziness, fatigue, even dangerous falls. But here's the good news. Every one of these mistakes is fixable. And the fixes? They're simple. A few deep breaths before standing. A glass of water before anything else. A small bite before coffee. A gentle stretch before your first step. These aren't drastic lifestyle changes. They're acts of care, acts of awareness. And more than anything, they're reminders that you still have the power to choose how you age. You're not at the mercy of time. You're in conversation with it. And every mindful morning is a step toward longevity, strength, and peace. At Elderly Active Living, we believe in celebrating these everyday victories. Because it's not about chasing youth, it's about honoring this season of life with intention. So before you move on with your day, I want to ask you a few questions. Which of these morning habits surprised you the most? Have you been making any of these mistakes without realizing it? What's one small change you'll try starting tomorrow? We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Your story might just inspire someone else who needed to hear it today. And if you found this video helpful, if it made you pause, smile, or rethink your routine, please give it a like. It means more than you know. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss a video filled with useful, uplifting health tips made just for you. Here at Elderly Active Living, you are seen, you are valued, and you are never too old to thrive. We're honored to be part of your journey. Until next time, take a deep breath, move gently, and start your day like your future depends on it, because it does.